In the Ayamatsu Pride story, the central theme revolves around Subaru's choice between pride and humility. When Subaru first arrives in Lagunica, his pride is evident. Believing himself to be overpowered, he behaves recklessly, attempting to cast magic spells and underestimating the alley thugs he encounters. He assumes they are low-level NPCs that he can easily defeat with his supposed S-tier combat strength. However, his confidence is shattered when he realizes that he is just as powerless in this world as he was in Japan. In the main story, Subaru swallows his pride and calls out for help from the guards. This humility allowed him to survive as Reinhardt appears and saves the day. In Ayamatsu, however, Subaru's pride prevents him from seeking assistance, even in the face of danger. This pride eventually corrupts him, leading him down a darker path. The story takes a familiar turn as Elsa kills Subaru, just as she did in the first episode. However, this time, Subaru's reaction upon respawning is different. Instead of panicking, he calmly grabs a stick and starts drawing tally marks in the dirt. It becomes evident that something has gone terribly wrong as Subaru dies over 80 times more than he was supposed to, trapped in an endless loop. With each iteration, Subaru's sanity begins to crumble. He becomes desperate to escape the loop, willing to do anything. Yet all his efforts end in failure. Despite his determination, he cannot defeat Elsa. His lack of power torments him, gradually breaking his mind. After respawning again, Subaru encounters the three alley thugs. However, this time he is no longer afraid, because he has memorized their fighting patterns through countless respawns. Using this knowledge to his advantage, Subaru easily defeats the thugs. But instead of letting them go, he goes too far. He strangles them to death and proceeds to stomp on their necks until he feels their bones break beneath his shoes. He loots their bodies, taking their weapons for himself. Subaru has repeated this loop so many times that he accomplishes all of this within a minute. It becomes increasingly clear that something is seriously wrong with Subaru. Exiting the alleyway, Subaru encounters Amelia, who is pursuing Felt to retrieve her insignia. Despite failing to save Amelia 87 times before, Subaru promises to rescue her, still addressing her as Satella. The weight of his repeated failures against the unbeatable Elsa becomes apparent, pushing Subaru to consider seeking help from the city guards. However, as Subaru watches Elsa effortlessly slaughter the guards, his belief in her invincibility intensifies. Suddenly, Reinhardt arrives on the scene, engaging in a fierce battle with Elsa that results in the destruction of part of the slums. After enduring 87 loops of despair and defeat, Subaru is astonished to witness Reinhardt effortlessly vanquish his formidable opponent. Although the outcome is favorable, what Subaru does next is very odd and out of character. Like for Part 2. After Elsa escapes, Subaru deceives the guards by providing them false information, leading them in the wrong direction. He then locates Elsa, who is severely wounded, and offers to assist her. Subaru believes that she could be useful in his ultimate goal of saving Amelia. With a mix of hatred and determination, Subaru makes it explicitly clear that he despises her and intends to end her life at some point in the future, but not in the present moment. Surprisingly, Elsa smiles and agrees to team up with Subaru, signifying the end of his endless loop. Some time passes, and Subaru wonders if Amelia has recovered her insignia. Curiosity drives him back to the loot house, where he discovers that Felt and Old Man Ron have been arrested for their actions against Amelia. Subaru realizes that he has achieved his objective. However, without a clear goal in mind, Subaru is uncertain about what to do next. The only thing on his mind is Amelia, as he is filled with unanswered questions. Feeling desperate for answers, Subaru contemplates killing himself to restart and gain the knowledge he seeks. However, he believes there might be an easier way. Standing before the loot house, Subaru vocalizes his thoughts, saying, "Why don't you guys teach me?" He then turns around to face several silhouettes standing behind him, all with insane and lifeless eyes. Subaru suspects that if he had a mirror, his own eyes would appear the same. 2 months later, Subaru receives news about the royal selection and learns Amelia's real name. Although Subaru knew that Satella wasn't her true name, discovering Amelia's real name brings him immense joy. In the midst of his celebration, Subaru is interrupted by Beetlejuice, with whom he has been living for the past 2 months. Beetlejuice explains to Subaru that it is time for them to embark on the ordeal to determine if Amelia is a suitable vessel for the witch's soul. Eager to reunite with Amelia, Subaru agrees to participate but raises concerns about her potential death during the process, which Beetlejuice confirms. Upon hearing this confirmation, a dark smile forms on Subaru's face and the scene transitions. 400 loops later, Subaru stands with a sword plunged through Beetlejuice's heart. As Beetlejuice is dying, Subaru reveals that it required significant effort and careful planning to reach this outcome. He had to form a contract with a minor spirit to protect himself from possession, and hired Elsa to eliminate all the fingers. Subaru could not allow anyone to harm Amelia, and that's what he conveys to Beetlejuice before ending his life with a sword. Like for part 3. Blazing inferno that engulfed not just the capital but the entire Lagunica territory, Subaru stood face to face with Reinhardt, who stood there showing clear hatred and emotion for the first time. It was a moment forged through committing every conceivable crime in existence. Subaru, with a heavy heart, laid bare the truth of his relentless pursuit, revealing his tireless attempts to end Reinhardt's life, his painstaking research, and the sacrifices he had made, over and over and over again, in futile repetition. The weight of disappointment and despair settled upon him as he grappled with his own powerlessness. Yet from the depths of his anguish, Subaru emerged with an unwavering resolve. He vowed to kill Reinhardt's name and dismantle everything he stands for as a hero, for all the tens and thousands of loops he had traversed had led him to this pivotal moment. Reinhardt appears visibly shaken. Subaru, his voice is now trembling and laced with sobs. It's a rare display of emotion from Subaru, who hasn't shed tears since his first day in this world. Surprisingly, it's not the gruesome acts he has committed that move him to tears, but rather the power embodied by Reinhardt. Subaru reflects on his jealousy towards Reinhardt as he faced death at Elsa's hands 87 times, only to witness Reinhardt effortlessly dispatch her with a single swing of his sword. The desire to possess such power turned into a deep-seated hatred within Subaru, and now he is about to experience that power firsthand as Reinhardt prepares to end his life. Reinhardt, aware of Subaru's strength, doesn't reach for his sword. Subaru is so weak to him that it wouldn't even be necessary to draw his weapon. Instead, Reinhardt readies himself to kill Subaru with his bare hands, emphasizing the vast difference in their strengths. In this pivotal moment, Elsa, miraculously still alive, launches an attack on Reinhardt, only to have her blade shattered by his hand. Taking advantage of the distraction, Subaru seizes the opportunity to flee downhill, but his escape is interrupted by Amelia's arrival, like for the final part.